Creamer Media's Mining Weekly is interviewing Trevor Raymond, the CEO of the World Platinum Investment Council, and Ed Sturck, the head of research of the World Platinum Investment Council. This interview is taking place to communicate the importance of this year's Shanghai Platinum Week, which is scheduled to take place in China from the 8th of July to the 11th of July. Interestingly, the World Platinum Investment Council is the co-organizer of the Shanghai Platinum Week, which is now in its fourth year, with the four-day event attracting more and more global attention. Hi, Trevor and Ed. It's great to chat to you both. Trevor, please kick off by telling us what Shanghai Platinum Week is all about and what the original objectives were when it was first launched 4 years ago.
Yes, Martin, we opened our Shanghai office in 2017, and the platinum had been well known as a jewelry in China for many years, but there was very little knowledge about platinum as an investment metal. So our initial efforts was to increase awareness about platinum as an investment, and certainly about the wider uses of platinum. So this was aligned with our thinking. There were some conferences that we held that predated the idea for Shanghai Platinum Week, and the success of those was that it got people from the wider PGM industry to network. So when we initially thought of the concept 4 years ago, it was to provide a platform that would allow networking, provide information, and increase awareness. And we differentiated that a little from Platinum Weeks in London and New York. And the intention was to create a forum that provided access, information, and allowed the networking necessary to boost really the entire PGM value chain in China. And certainly the awareness of platinum as an investment, having had a long history of jewelry in China, just made a lot of sense. So we worked hard to set up the idea. I think over the last 4 years that were plagued by COVID shutdowns particularly, there were two sort of mostly virtual events, and last year was the in-person event. And I think that success has given us the confidence, and certainly the global market the confidence, that the Shanghai Platinum Week is now locked into the second week in July. So the idea has been long-standing. We're very pleased that it's come to something that is now recognized as an important part of the global PGM calendar.
How does the role of the World Platinum Investment Council as a co-organizer of the Shanghai Platinum Week align with the WPIC's broader mission?
So yes, Martin, I think the fact that we had the office on the ground in Shanghai, our team there is providing to China, I think, expert and deep knowledge. We know with, for example, the other precious metal, gold, that people don't tend to look to the issuer for investment advice. So when platinum investment products are available, we try to provide information to help investors make more informed investment decisions. So our team in China was best suited to explain the platinum market. And certainly we saw the benefits of increasing the awareness to create a trusted forum that would provide both investors, but importantly, other users, industrial, automotive, and jewelry users of platinum in China, with a forum that could assist. So it helps us in increasing awareness across the wider chain, but it also helps that industry to develop. And we look to address channels that help investors, and those often help other people in the PGM chain also.
You mentioned the London and New York Platinum Weeks. How does Shanghai Platinum Week differentiate from those two?
I suppose the two key differentiators, Martin, is that firstly, you can register and join Shanghai Platinum Weeks. I mean, that's quite difficult to do in London. And we recognize that as being important. So pretty much one event over 2 days, it was 3 days last year, that allows people to make sure that they've got access to get the information, but importantly, also to network. And having the ability to communicate with other people in the value chain, that was extremely important. And I suppose the other important feature is that it's got a particular focus on the largest PGM market in the world. So the growth in terms of demand for platinum applications in China is extremely high. So for people to be able to go to China for that Platinum Week and get detailed access to the China market is really something that has an advantage. It's sandwiched between London Platinum Week in May and New York Platinum Week in September. So it allows people that are traveling at least some gap if they do wish to attend all three. And certainly one of the attractions is that simultaneous translation takes down some of the usual difficulties of being in China and understanding the markets there.
Just give us a little bit more color on the importance of platinum group metals to China, and why is the Shanghai Platinum Week of such importance to PGMs?
So I think, we know, as I said, the largest user of PGMs in the world, and certainly all the current uses, automotive, industrial, jewelry, and investment, are represented in China, and there's strong growth in all of those. We certainly know that China's vehicle manufacturing increased beyond that of the US, makes that market extremely important from both the palladium, platinum, and even rhodium perspective. But I think the other key thing is that the Chinese economy is benefiting from the development of the hydrogen economy. So China is committed to global decarbonization by 2060, and platinum is really an integral part of that. Also, Chinese investors have known platinum for many years as a jewelry, and a lot of more people are saving for retirement. So to have platinum as part of a retirement investment just makes a lot of sense. I think the importance of platinum to China is that there are no platinum mines in China. So one of the benefits is that if China really needs platinum to decarbonize, to create green hydrogen and also to use it, and to decarbonize other hard-to-abate industries, having platinum on Chinese soil is a good idea. And we know that supply growth and demand growth don't always match. So we've encouraged the Chinese policymakers to recognize the importance of platinum investment demand and of having more platinum metal on Chinese soil as a certain support to the industrial use of platinum over time.
And are there any challenges that you face in the China market? And if so, what are some of the solutions?
So I suppose obviously awareness was something that we went into, and we've done extremely well in creating that awareness. But market liquidity certainly has been an issue for all participants from an investment point of view, as well as industrial. And we've worked very hard to increase participation, and certainly worked with the Guangzhou Futures Exchange to ensure that there is a platinum and a palladium future available, so that the local users of these metals are able to hedge price risk. Now, that would be game-changing for investment demand, and certainly some of the investment landscape in China is changing at the moment. So for people to have the opportunity to invest in another precious metal, and for the local industrial users to be able to hedge their price risk using a future that's listed in China is extremely beneficial. So we've worked closely with policymakers. We work with refiners, exchanges, traders, wholesale, retail, manufacturers, and that entire chain will certainly benefit from the availability of futures in the market. So that's something that we've put a lot of effort into and focused on. And that also could unlock the possibility of a physically backed ETF in China. Hedging price risk has been one of the limitations. So we certainly see that as sort of a groundbreaking change to some of the challenges that we face.
And what is the long-term vision for Shanghai Platinum Week, and how do you see it evolving over the next decade?
So I think the fact that it's become recognized and it's now part of the global PGM calendar is most rewarding for us, all the effort that's gone into establishing it. I think the key issue is a trusted forum where people can spend time efficient, also get good insight into the information, and have something that is trusted and worth attending. But I think over time, locked in, the China market growing as we know it will, it'll become increasingly important. So I think having the Shanghai Platinum Week, on the global calendar now is probably ideal timing. So the 4-year gestation period has certainly been well worth it, and we look forward to it becoming something that is really helpful to investors around the world and participants in the broader PGM industry.
And now, Ed, can you give prospective attendees some insight into what they can expect from the format of the event this year, and what are some of the key insights or discoveries that participants might expect to take away from the event?
Thanks, Martin. So, as Trevor mentioned, China is the biggest consumer of PGMs globally. Roughly around a third of all platinum group metals go into China. So it's the biggest market in the world. And it's also one of the more difficult and more opaque markets for non-Chinese market participants to get insights into and to understand. So I think one of the key things that people will take away from Shanghai Platinum Week is those additional insights into what is a somewhat opaque market from outside of China. And that will help understand where the value proposition for PGMs lies. And I think a further benefit ultimately is networking. So there are a lot of opportunities at Shanghai Platinum Week to get to meet counterparts in China, organizations in China that are active in the PGMs industry and important from a demand perspective, understand what their motivations are, their future demand outlook is, and try to build that into calculating the value proposition for the different platinum group metals.
And Ed, how have recent technological advancements in areas such as green hydrogen production and fuel cell technology influenced the agenda and discussions planned for the event?
So the agenda is still being finalized, but those technological advancements are all factoring into our agenda as it's planned. So hydrogen is going to be a big feature of Shanghai Platinum Week as a whole, but there are other interesting areas that are worth highlighting as well. So one of the vehicle segments that's growing rapidly in China, which could be of interest to the rest of the world as well, are extended range electric vehicles. So these are battery electric vehicles, just like a normal battery electric vehicle, but with an internal combustion engine that is included as effectively a generator to recharge the battery and extend the range. And most of these vehicles have effective ranges when you've got a fully charged battery and a full tank of fuel, plus or minus 1,000 kilometers. So the important thing about these is that they are a sort of transition technology to electrification. What we're seeing in the markets at the moment is a significant consumer reluctance to adopt battery electric vehicles. So effectively, the early adopters have adopted. They've done that with significant subsidies, tax incentives, and so on. And the next cohort of consumers are just proving that bit more reluctant to adopt battery electrification. And that's while subsidies and tax incentives and so on have been wound down. So these extended range electric vehicles are potentially something that would kind of bridge that gap and get the next cohort of consumers to make the switch. Importantly, from a PGM perspective, the exhaust treatment systems of these vehicles contain PGMs. So they kind of go into the narrative of higher for longer traditional automotive demand for platinum group metals. So together with hydrogen, extended range electric vehicles, and then also things like the growing use of PGMs in the semiconductor industry, these are all featuring into the planned schedule for Shanghai Platinum Week.
And what are some of the key organizations that are scheduled to attend Shanghai this year?
Well, in terms of those that are confirmed so far, Anglo-American features, as does Northern Platinum. We've got BMO on the financial side, and then a number of other international organizations are planning to attend, but not yet fully confirmed. In terms of China domestic organizations, the Guangzhou Futures Exchange is planning to attend, as well as a number of the other financial and recycling and other industrial organizations within China. Going back to the international organizations, a couple of overlooked are the CME, who are planning to attend, and also JPX from Japan.
And what is on offer when it comes to networking opportunities?
Oh, there's plenty on offer. I mean, there are translators available for ex-China participants, and a lot of social events where one can mingle and get to meet the representatives of the different organizations that are in attendance. So just to give you some context from last year's Shanghai Platinum Week, in terms of in-person delegates, we had over 1,200 over the course of the conference, and they represented, I think it was about 400 to 450 different organizations. So, significant opportunities to meet people and build relationships with them and a deeper understanding of the market in China. And I guess one stat, and this doesn't necessarily fall into the networking side of things, but just to illustrate the amount of interest in platinum group metals in China, the Shanghai Platinum Week 2023 was webcast, and there were 180,000 people that watched the event online.
And could you tell us how those interested in attending the Shanghai Platinum Week can find more information and register to attend?
Very simply, just go to shanghaiplatinumweek.com, and all of the details and the registration process are available there.
And finally, Trevor, what in your view should be the biggest takeaway from this interview?
It really is. The London Platinum Week has been in place for over 30 years, and the Shanghai Platinum Week is likely to be in place for the next 30. It's an important market. We think the format is helpful, and we encourage people that have China as an important market in their thinking wherever they sit in the PGM value chain, that it certainly is worth the effort. And as Ed said, a lot of participation from within China. And I think that in itself indicates the degree to which PGMs penetrate the value chain across all of the demand segments. So we welcome you. And if you want to be at Platinum Week, we certainly look forward to seeing you there.
That was Creamer Media's Mining Weekly, speaking to Trevor Raymond, the CEO of the World Platinum Investment Council, and to Ed Sturck, the head of research at the World Platinum Investment Council.